Welcome viewers, Syndrome here with Breaking the Stream Gaming. Today I'm going to be playing Birthright, the Gorgon's Alliance, a rather old game based in the Birthright D&D setting. It was released by Sierra Online back in, I believe, 1995, so we're going a little ways back here. The game is abandonware. As soon as any place lets me download and play it, I will absolutely do that. But for now, I just have to use the CD-ROM version that I've had sitting in my binder for, geez, 2.5 decades now. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to be beginning a new game. So Birthright is a game that takes place in 3 different phases. There is a real-time combat stage, which consists of battles between armies. There is a first-person sort of adventure phase, and there's also a strategy component that takes place on this map up here. So I'm going to go ahead and play the full game. You can play the game in 3 different levels of complexity. The basic game really doesn't have much going on for it. Basically, I'm going to be going with the expert game, and it'll make more sense once I do that. So here we have our choices of which faction we are going to play with. The humans and the dwarves mainly are focused in the southern area here.
Not permitted.
Then we have a few elven kingdoms, including the one which I will be playing. I always play Tuarhiel. I always pick Philarain as my regent. He has, I think, the highest possible bloodline strength out of all the starting regents. This is important because it will give us more regency points every turn, which are used for various strategic options. So I'm just going to begin my roll. Here we have an advisor screen. I typically don't pay much attention to this. Various things includes the victory points, which your faction has accumulated. Since we're playing the expert game, or rather, since we're playing on the hardest difficulty, we need 500 points to win. The Gorgon's Crown is the most powerful faction right from the get-go, but that doesn't necessarily stay the case for long. Here we have a loyalty report. It shows varying levels of alliance between the different factions. Green being a permissive alliance, which has limited benefits. Blue being a full alliance. Often when you go to war, your full allies will join you. And purple being a vassal state. Essentially, they're yours. Orange here, I believe, means that you were previously at war with their faction. Oh, actually, it says right down here. Orange means you're enemies. I believe that the only way you become enemies is by actually being at war with someone previously or at war with one of their allies. And red means that you're currently at war, which this is kind of an irrelevant thing because the wars don't last between turns. So I'm not sure. We have a troop report showing how many units you have versus the top, what is that, 10 factions. Um, just listing of wars that are going on. A listing of investitures. This is an amusing one. Basically, once you capture an enemy territory, you need to spend an action on your turn to claim it as your own. So once you've done that, it'll show up in a list here. This adventure news relates to the adventure portion of the game. Basically, there are various artifacts which we will go in a real-time adventure to capture. So, for example, this one here is a quest for... I don't even know what this is for. Usually it lists out what the magic item is, but it doesn't here, so we'll see when we go to claim it. These, not really important, so I'm just going to get started. So the first phase of every turn is the tax collection phase. So basically, this is a list of all your provinces. This is the level of taxation. Here we have what effect the taxation is going to do in relation to your people's happiness. So green is kind of the middle tier. What we want is for everybody to be blue, at least in the beginning. So I'm going to switch all of these over to light taxation. So next turn, all of them will advance by 1. So we'll be able to claim a little bit extra money. Also, law claims. We have some law um, holdings in some of our own territories. I've never been entirely clear on how these work, but basically, sometimes you'll get a little bit of extra tax money by selecting them. So I'll go ahead and do that. So I'm going to collect my taxes. Right now, we're estimated to be losing 4 gold, so that's not ideal, but there are ways to make up for that. There's always a random component to this, so this time, even though we were projected to lose 4 gold, we actually came out ahead. So I'm fairly happy with that, but I still want a little bit extra money to begin with. So up here, we have my bloodline strength. This is the 55 that I pointed out during character selection. Essentially, what we can do with this is, one of the things we can do with it is use it to pay for our troops. Excuse me. So what I'm going to do is, instead of paying gold to my cavalry, I'm just going to pay them with the power of my personality. That gives an extra 6 gold. I think that should be 2 more. Why not? That should be good for now. So then we'll move to the main phase of the game. So every turn takes place in 3, sort of 4 actions. Basically, I will take 1 action, then the other factions will each take an action of their own. Then I'll take my second, and then my third, and then we'll go back to that aggregation phase. Now, one thing that we can only do in this expert game here is lieutenant action. Basically, you have a lieutenant, in this case, I think Philoraine's sister, maybe? And by selecting her, she can actually take a separate action on her own, which will basically give us 4 actions a turn. So, for the bulk of the game, we're going to be taking 4 actions every turn. But for now, I don't want to do that, so let me just cancel something. Okay. Here we have the Kingdom of Tuarhiel. Now, unfortunately, our neighbors to the east is the Gorgon. The Gorgon is far and away the most powerful unit in the game. He has 100 bloodline, as opposed to my 55, and unknown power. They go. So this game actually takes place using the D&D 2nd edition rule set. So a little bit dated, but, you know, it is what it is. He also has considerable troops, more than you can just see here. At a certain point in the first 5 turns or so, roughly, I don't know, 30 or 40 units are just going to be created somehow in this area. He also has a close ally, Markazor, just to my south, so I'm surrounded on about 50% of my borders by the most powerful faction in the game, and they're highly aggressive, so we'll probably be at war within the first 2 or 3 turns. Now here, I have my main stack, 2 Elven Cavalry, and my sister, who is a Wizard Thief, good old 2nd edition D&D, as well as myself, who is a Wizard Fighter. In combat between armies, Wizards are absurd. They can just wipe the floor with practically any other unit. So the first thing that I typically do is go into Diplomacy, because there is somebody that I find to be essential, the High Mage Aeles. So here from Tuarhiel back up to Arenwe, we have the various factions in the game. And we can negotiate with most of them. Not all of them. Most of them. Over here, though, we have other factions which only consist of individual characters. So, for example, this is the Archmage Aeles. He is a level 16 wizard who we can start with from basically the start of the game. And he is just completely absurd. So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to seek a full alliance with him. Basically, my current standing is 75, so we're going to have to give him enough stuff to increase this up to 95. So, since that's just a 20-point difference, I'm going to go ahead and give him one of my holdings. So yeah, sure, a level 5 source holding. That'll put us up to 100. So that sounds good to me. I'll modify our chances of success using my Regency, which is the primary use for Regency. I'll give it a roll. I succeed, of course. And then we move on. So now we are in a full alliance with Aeles, the High Mage. Unfortunately, a full alliance isn't good enough for me. And also, I kind of regret giving away that source holding. So yeah, I'm just going to negotiate with him again. Let's see. This time we're going to request an Oath of Fealty. Now this takes 176, which is quite a bit higher. So what are we going to do? We're going to give him the best source holding that we have. That's going to put it up by 30%. That puts us to 55. So we need to increase it by another 21%. Let's go ahead and give him some bucks. Okay, so 11 gold bars is enough to get him up to the required minimum. So I'm going to go ahead and succeed on that. And, oh, what do you know? We just got our holding back. Huh, how about that? And the one that we just gave him is also back in our hands. So once you reach a Oath of Fealty with one of these NPCs, any holdings that they acquire or that they have become yours. So in addition to these two, we actually received quite a few holdings all throughout the world. I think that they're down south here somewhere, but I'm not entirely sure where they are. But in any case, they're scattered throughout the world. In addition to that, he also joined our army. So now we have Aeles, the level 16 wizard, in our army. It's a wonderful thing. He's pretty much unstoppable in combat. Basically, the only way that he loses in your typical fight is if the enemy has so many troops that they just win automatically. Basically, if the number of troops that you have falls below 20% of the enemy's troops, you just lose. Now, before I proceed on, I'm going to go ahead and take that lieutenant action now. And I'm going to send him out on an adventure. Now, there's a very good reason why I picked Tuarhiel and why I picked Philorane as my regent. The reason is so that I can use this lady here on the lieutenant action. So let me just memorize some spells real quick. I'll give her a couple shocking grasps, some continue a light, and a couple lightning bolts. And Aeles, let's see. We'll give him just a ton of detect magic. 2, let's locate object. That should work. We'll give him 5 fireballs, confusion. Oh, I don't know. Maybe 5 cones of cold. Couple of death spells, powered stun, spell immunity. Okay, yeah, that should work. So let me just equip these spells right here. Okay, now we're ready to go on the adventure. Now, I'm not actually going to legitimately go through this because, frankly, this is a buggy, horrible-looking, just god-awful mess. So instead, oh, here, let me just show you real quick what a level 16 wizard does. Let's just I can't target him with that, it looks like. I'm stuck at this view. Should be able to target him. Yeah, I think I'm stuck in combat mode for the moment. Yeah, let's just move up a little bit. Oh, here they come, yeah. Let's see, one down. Can I hit the other? No, not yet. You know, I take it back, though. There's one other thing. I'm just going to go over here real quick and get a little bit of loot that I forgot about. Just a terrible, awful-looking system, but it is what it is. A little bit of cone of cold, you know. Nothing they can do about that. Oh, there's a guy. He made it. Yeah, how about that? Yeah. Level 16 wizard. These are probably level 1 NPCs, so it goes about as well as you'd expect it to. Okay, but I think that's probably enough of showing this off, so I'm going to just come over here. Oh, wait, did I just hear another one? Nah, they're up there. If I remember right, there's an ion stone in here. Yeah, there it is. Right there. Pink and green. I don't remember what that one does. Anyway, though, I'm going to go ahead and just finish up this mission real quick. So I'm casting Locate Object, which shows me on the map where the quest object is. Now, going back to something I was saying before, the reason that Litha here is so important is that one of her blood abilities is the travel skill. Lets her teleport once per adventure. So now that we know where that quest object is, yeah, so we're here. I'll just kill this guy. And yeah, there on the table there is the Torque of Splendor. So I'll just go ahead and pick that up. Oh, it increases our leader's charisma 18. I have no idea if that's going to do anything beneficial, but, you know, it's a lieutenant action. There was no reason not to. And now I'm just going to exit out of the adventure. Alright. Found the object, completed everything. There it is. Okay, let's see. With my last action of the turn, what can I do? I think that I'm going to go back to diplomacy here and start working on Hubar Armienden. He's, I think, the highest level cleric that we can find. So just to have, you know, a well-rounded adventuring party, I figure might as well get him. So looks like we're going to need to increase reaction by 60. I'll just go ahead and make a permissive alliance here and give him some. These, by the way, are all the holdings which ALE's brought with him. Just a bunch of level 2, 3-ish source holdings, it looks like. So I'll just go ahead and give him one of our level 5s. That'll be more than enough. Increase the chances of success with Regency. And there we go. Okay. No new adventures this turn. No investitures. Yeah, nothing really important there. So this takes us back to the tax phase. Now here you can see that our factions are now blue, which is the highest standing. So in some of these we have law holdings. These will prevent us from losing happiness even when we severely tax our people. So all of these I'm going to put up to severe taxation, except for Avalae. That one, I don't believe that my law holding is sufficiently high. I think that needs to be half of the province level. So I'm just going to leave that one slight. Not a big deal. That'll help our income quite a bit. So now we're expecting a loss of 8. Does Ailey's... No, he doesn't have a... He does not have a salary, so I'm not sure why they're expecting that to go down so much, but let's see what just happens. Okay, so from a loss of 8, we actually had income of 2, so whatever. I'll go ahead and just pay for the cavalry this time to get us an extra couple of bucks, and then come back here. So we were in an alliance with Robe the Manslayer. He's one of the... I don't remember what they're called. There are 3 monstrous enemies in the game. The spider here, who's a goblin monster. The Gorgon, who I already showed you. And then this guy right here, Robe Manslayer. He doesn't get along with humans, if you couldn't tell. He's one of the most powerful units in the game, but he only has one province, and I've never actually seen him be a threat to anybody, so we'll leave him be as a fellow elf for the time being. Anyway, though, continuing with the game, I think that our first... I mean, there are a few ways that we can do this. We can either declare war on one of our neighbors, or we could keep working on the priest. So you can only declare war during turns or actions 1 and 2 of turn. So if we're going to attack somewhere, we should do it now. I think I want to give it another turn to get a little bit more money so I can recruit a little bit more elven cavalry, who are themselves a little bit ridiculously overpowered. So yeah, I am just going to continue working on getting us that cleric for now. Let's see, our modified reaction is already 105, so I'm not going to be able to push it up to Oath of Fealty without spending a lot of gold this turn, so I'm just going to do a permissive, or rather a full alliance. And I'll give him another level 5 holding. Let's see, I'll just go ahead and give him level 5 source one. That's fine. We're gonna get it back in a minute anyway, so that's fine.
It's your turn.
Okay. I'm now going to take a lieutenant action. I'm going to have him attempt to create a source holding here in Riverford, because I think that is going to be our first target for conquest. So let's see, I'm going to go over here to Tuarhiel, Riverford, and create a source holding. So we only have a 1 in 4 chance of success. I'll roll it though. Hey, what do you know? We succeeded. Perfect. Now we have a level 0 source holding. It's hiding there behind the keep. I'll go ahead and finish up our diplomacy with the cleric. I will go ahead and just give him our level 6 source holding now. Let's see, that makes it just a little bit more than we need. I wonder if we can get him to give us any gold. Nope. Oh well, I'll just be satisfied with. That's not the holding that I offered at all. Okay, there we go. Let's see, 175, 169. Okay, that'll be good. Roll it, and we'll now get all of those sources back. On top of which, we now have an additional level 11 cleric. Okay, one last turn. Action for the turn, rather. I'm going to go ahead and create a ley line. So I'm going to make that between Lyrandor, which has my level 6 source holding, and the one that I just created in Riverford. That's weird. Where is it? Oh, did I put it in the wrong place? Oh, well that sucks. I apparently misclicked somewhere and I accidentally put it in Melivian rather than Riverford. So I guess what I'll do instead is I'll go ahead and create another one in... No, I do have it there. Well, that's odd. So I should just be able to create a ley line between here and there. I don't know why I can't. Here it is. It's a source node. It's listed. Well, that's bizarre. Okay, well, I can't do that, so instead what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go ahead and rule my provinces. So here we have two options. Either we can attempt to increase the level of a single province, or we can attempt to increase the level of every single holding in any number of provinces. So I only really care about a few of these, so I'm curious what's going on with Riverford, so I'm going to go ahead and increase that one. I want to make sure that I increase this one just so that I can heavily tax my people. The others, I don't so much care if they succeed or fail, so I'll just leave them as they are, win at about half of them.
Succeeded, not succeed, did not succeed, succeeded, did not succeed, succeeded.
Yeah, a little bit less than half, but close enough. Okay, and I think that I will call this video here, and I will pick it up next time with turn 3. Thanks for viewing.